go.
Hello, I'm pre-service teacher Carmela.
I'm pre-service Kirsty.
And I'm pre-service Sarah.
Our chosen activity is a multicultural food cooking assessment activity that will be held towards the end of the year. There will be 5 cultural food recipes that will be applicable to the 5 cultures contained within our class. Recipe method and key to fix errors will be displayed at the front of the class by a projector for 10 minutes while the students write it down. Our class will be split into 5 equal groups. 2 minor ingredients will be purposely left out. Children are to do an after-activity presentation including reflection of the activity and information about that cultural food. Their nominated culture will be elected 1 week prior to allow time for research. They are to cook volumes of food that will cover every member of that group and their family. Movie tickets will be presented to the group that best work together and the work they have presented and their presentations afterward. Motivation engagement is crucial when planning out an activity. 2 concepts of motivation is intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is the challenge of competing and not failing, or any other element of the activity that would benefit the student as an individual. Extrinsic motivation is the movie tickets. Engagement in this activity is supported by hands-on participation and interaction. They will interact with their group, then the class in the after-class presentation, and the teacher throughout the activity. Cognitive engagement is not always visible, but can be measured with the improvement of culinary skills and how much time and research they have put into their presentation. Cognitive development is important. When we were doing this activity, we had aimed it at our middle school to secondary school students. To achieve cognitive development, I have referred to Jean Piaget's cognitive development stages. According to this age group, they should be at the concrete to formal operation stage. How we've supported and nurtured this through the activity is using different measuring utensils allow conservation by having the students understand the measurements stay the same even though the utensils look physically different. Key for errors encourages reversing actions such as if your battery is too inconsistent, you can add flour to fix that error. Leaving 2 ingredients out is supporting compensation for change, hypothetical reasoning, and seeing from another's viewpoint. Hypothetical reasoning is encouraged when they're like, okay, we don't have parsley, so what other herb can we use to gain the same outcome? Seeing from another viewpoint is also encouraged by collaboratively learning together and how they can overcome this problem. So that would allow students to see from others' perspectives. After activity presentation helps students develop the ability to represent that event mentally. Because this is an end-of-year assessment, this will help me gauge if students are able to operate logically on their surroundings.
Physical development is described in the book Discovering Child Development as growth and change in a person's body and bodily functions. There are 3 major areas in which our cooking task will support when it comes to the physical domain of learning. These are the body, brain, and behaviour. Due to the middle-aged students participating in a cooking class, they will need to have a strong fine motor skills, as one could be stirring, chopping, or using other hand movements. Students will also need coordination skills to complete the cooking activity. As there are a lot of components to cooking, multitasking might be necessary. The students will need to have an understanding of how to behave in a kitchen, as well as how to work efficiently in a group. This allows a safe environment for all. Due to a student having cerebral palsy in our class, it is important that we let the student participate in the activity just like everyone else. Due to the student also being in a wheelchair and having trouble with movement and body muscle, we would need to make some adjustments, such as having lower and more accessible countertops, making sure they are positioned close to the exit just in case of emergencies, and making sure all sharp objects are away from their reach. It is important that before the cooking class starts, one asks the students with cerebral palsy what they want and if they want to help. It would be great to have a teacher next to the child. The teacher then can help the child place ingredients into the bowl, as well as help them mix the ingredients. This can help define fine motor skills. Other students in the class might also have numerous difficulties, such as hearing or with their sight. To accommodate these, it is important that the recipe will be in bold and in big text. It would also be helpful if there was a PowerPoint or visual aid to demonstrate what the students have to do. Therefore, all children can be included. Overall, it is important to remember that all students will be at different stages with their physical development, and that we as teachers have to adapt to everyone's skills to include all in participation.
Kirsty says, entering into the formal operational stage is an intense social time when there is a need for belonging and acceptance. Social and emotional development involves a child's experiences, expressions, and emotions, along with the ability to form and sustain significant relationships with others. It is important to allow opportunities for students to develop social and emotional skills because it increases their language, ability, vocabulary, development, self-management capabilities, self-regulation, and problem-solving skills. Incorporating social aspects into this cooking activity and dividing the students into small groups will allow for diverse students despite emotional, social, intellectual, or physical disabilities the ability to participate. Students will have the opportunity to learn appropriate social skills and behaviours by communicating, cooperating, and sharing. Group work will allow students the opportunity to make friends despite differences and will more likely feel connected to school and do well and be less likely to feel isolated or bullied. Introducing new ethnic cuisines each week will keep the class thought-provoking, inclusive, engaging while stimulating the awareness of cultural diversity. Embedding this multicultural approach will enhance the educational experience for cultural diversity